Hello all my hedgehog heads out there. I'm going to be talking about the Sonic Symphony that I saw in San Francisco recently, which ended up being a pretty tremendous event. The concept of a Sonic Symphony was introduced a while back when Sega held a live-streamed version of it, and it was a mixture of a symphony as well as a band playing some of the vocal tracks, including the return of some of the original musicians who worked on the series. And I really enjoyed that live stream and have listened to those tracks many times since then, so I was really glad to hear that they would be going on tour with it. San Francisco, I don't think, was originally in the list of places they were going, but it was added at one point, and I was sure to snag 2 tickets to it because I couldn't miss that chance. I went with my good pal Brian. Here is friend Brian. So we got there about a half hour before the event started, and there was already a massive crowd. I've never seen more people in Sonic the Hedgehog gear. It sort of had a convention feel to it. I didn't end up doing any of the merch stuff, just didn't really feel like it. I kind of wanted to more just focus on the event itself, and we were in the second row up. Look at that, it's Sonic Hedgehog. It's really far down. It's actually kind of frighteningly high up right now. What do you think of Sonic?
Fast.
I liked our seats because we were pretty much in the middle, head on towards the Symphony. I'll be honest, the first half was slightly disappointing to me. I hate to say it, but it was in part due to the crowd. So most symphonies that you go to would not have a crowd nearly this active. They were reacting to like the things on the screen and the musical choices, like, oh, they're playing one from Sonic 3, people are gonna clap. They have funny little edits, like in the part where Sonic and Tails are drowning, so they like do little zoom-ins and people are really loving that. And I'm totally fine with the crowd being reactive. The issue is that it was drowning out the music a fair bit of the time, enough for it to be distracting for me personally. I don't know how other people who attended the event felt about that, but for me it was just, I really am there for the music, and not being able to hear it all the time was somewhat frustrating. But, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, obviously. They were all having fun, of course, but it did detract from my experience slightly. I did get emotional hearing some of these tracks live. It was pretty amazing. The selection is fairly different from the live streamed version. There's quite a lot of additions, but there are some removals. One that I was disappointed to see removed was the Can You Feel the Sunshine from Sonic R, I believe it's called. I really loved the orchestrated version of that. Definitely check that out if you haven't. It's pretty awesome. But that was cut, as were the Game Gear games, which I didn't mind personally since I'm not familiar with those songs, but Can You Feel the Sunshine being removed was a bit of a loss. There were definitely some notable additions to this segment which kind of helped make up for it. Like in the live streamed version, the first half was basically just the symphony, and then it goes to intermission. So the second half of the show was the part with the band. I wasn't familiar with any of the band members and vocalists, but they did a very good job. I enjoyed the second half far more because obviously there's a lot of crowd noise still, even more so, but the music level overpowered that, so you were able to focus on the music. With that said, the symphony was pretty much drowned out through this entire portion of the performance, which was kind of disappointing. I don't know how you would fix that. I'm not an audio engineer. It's kind of unfortunate. It's called the Sonic Symphony, but you can't really hear it during a vast majority of the second half of the show. The only time I can think of where I feel like I could hear it was the intro to His World, which has the violin segment, so I could hear that pretty well, but basically nothing else from the symphony was hearable, which was honestly, it was okay because you still get the experience of hearing these iconic Sonic the Hedgehog songs live. This segment had a lot of new tracks, and something that was very special, since not all showings of the Sonic Symphony feature this. Jun Senoway, who worked on the soundtrack of many iconic Sonic games, was there and played guitar, and it was pretty amazing. The crowd was very excited to see him, as was I. It was pretty amazing to see such an iconic figure in video game music perform live. That was pretty unmatched. By far the best part was the 2 finale songs, of course being from Sonic Adventure 2. Jun Senoway did discuss a little bit about how he lived in San Francisco for quite some time while working on the Sonic series. So sort of full circle to have those performed in San Francisco. Very cool. And yeah, it was City Escape, which was amazing hearing that live. The whole crowd was singing the whole song. And then we had Live and Learn, which was the same thing. And then we headed out, and that was it. That was the show. It was a great show. Like I said, I did have some problems with it, but I think if you're a fan of Sonic or Sonic music, you definitely need to see the show if you are able to, and it's showing in a city near you at some point in the future. I highly recommend setting aside the time and money to do that, because I don't know if they're doing this again. This very well could be a one-time only, or if it does happen, it might not be for a long time in the future. Great show, definitely recommend it, but did have its issues, but even still, the overall experience was pretty tremendous. Yes, okay, more videos soon. See you, haha.